right, welcome back to part 4 of building a web-based project and deploying it. Watch me struggle through some issues, watch my successes, watch me mess around, and hopefully learn something new. All right, so one of the issues I was working on the past couple of days has been something called cores. So this is dealing with requests that are cross-origin. So specifically when you load an HTML page and it requests another HTML page, there's checks that your browser does to make sure that that request is actually safe. So an issue that I was having when I went to actually load one of these web pages was it would actually try to insert HTML into another HTML file. So when it would do that, it took that to be this other request that it wasn't able to verify, and it sort of flagged it and actually blocked it in the browser. So over here in the console, I was getting this error that was saying it was blocked by the cores policy. So tried all different kinds of things within Flask, adding cross-origin decorators, things like that. So I can show you specifically what I tried. So over in my app file, I tried these cross-origin decorators, just trying to get it to run in the local host for now. This did not work. So I actually, after trying many different things over many hours, I tried a different approach, which is probably a better and more sustainable approach, I would say. So essentially now I'm using what's called Jinja. So that's a templating language within both Flask and Django. I know from my previous Django projects that you can use the same Jinja framework. So this is really, really cool. You can template out a lot of stuff, and this is good for kind of good practice when you're coding HTML, because you end up reusing a lot of components from page to page. So here's an example of this web page here. I'll show you what it looks like on the front end. So this is what it looks like on the front end. And then on the back end, you actually have an extension of your original template. So in this case, it's post.html. So it takes this and then will insert your content block. And you can do this for a lot of different components of your web page. I plan to do that for several others as well. So like email sign up, or like a sidebar, like an about me on the sidebar or something like that. That'd be something I'd want to show on each post, but wouldn't want to actually have specific HTML for it in each specific post. So reusing components is a really, really good practice. Okay, so one of the other issues that I've been trying to iron out has been resolving the domain name. So right now, I can obviously get it to run on localhost. I even was able to show you in the previous update that you can get it to run, show it running on one of the pods out in the EKS cluster. So in order to access that, you have to have both the IP and the port of the specific node that it's running on, or not node, but pod rather. And that's not exactly user-friendly. So having someone try to type in the IP and be able to find it and index it with Google, we want to assign a domain name to it. So I have this domain name through Namecheap. I've been trying to repoint it to my custom name servers that are out in AWS. So I was doing that by essentially adding in the name servers here for AWS with my custom DNS setting, and followed a couple tutorials on how to do this. And I'm fairly sure I set it up correctly, but the changes are not propagating yet. And instead, it can take a couple days for the name server configurations to kind of update and propagate through. So I'm thinking of just sort of waiting it out and seeing if those changes will take effect in the next day or two. Right now, if I try to access the domain, I just get this DNS probe finished error. So obviously still an issue that needs to be worked out there. But yeah, I created this specific hosted zone within Route 53 on AWS. And when you create that hosted zone, it gives you name servers that you should be pointing your domain to. And in theory, you can repoint registrars or domains from other registrars to those name servers, and it should work. But clearly, there's still some things I need to fix on that front. So yeah, spent a good amount of time on fixing the domain name. We'll see if we can get that one to take effect. If not, can look at transferring, maybe getting a different one through Route 53. I imagine the integration's a little easier, but we'll see. One of the other things I've been kicking around has been adding in sort of a back-end service. This would be one of the first main projects for the site. So creating a back-end process that would be able to do something such as sentiment analysis on both news posts as well as Twitter posts. I was thinking of, for the actual application of that, trying to tie that to Ethereum price. I think that'd be kind of a cool experiment. Have this job run every 10 minutes, pull in the most recent sentiment. Is it good? Is it bad? Try to create some sort of sentiment factor, and then tie that to the actual real-time price. I think that could be kind of a cool demonstration. I haven't seen that out on a lot of the price tracking websites yet, so I think that could be kind of a cool thing to demonstrate here. And for that, I was actually thinking it's going to be run at a regularly scheduled interval. So that's a perfect application for Amazon Fargate. Fargate is serverless containers, so you can put a Docker image out in one of these containers. It's not available publicly, so like I was saying in the previous update, you can't hit these containers directly from the public internet, but you can have a container that is available to the public internet hit this private subnet container. So like have it request the sentiment, or better yet, have the sentiment analysis kick off every 10 minutes. And according to AWS, you can actually schedule this right in the Fargate console. So excited to try that out. Fargate's something I've wanted to mess around with for a while. It just seems really powerful to have serverless containers. We all know that Lambda is probably one of the most popular AWS services, serverless functions for serverless compute. So containers take it one step further, where you can have a kind of a full-fledged application out there, and you're not burning resources to keep it up and running. And one of the last things that I did since the last update was essentially add a little more formatting into the front end. So making this look a little more pretty and user-friendly. So we have our one real post here. So I kind of split these out into cards and then did some formatting on the cards to make them more uniform. So we can see we have our title flowing in here. I'm going to add a description field to our RDS data store. And then you can click here to read more, and that pulls up the full post here. So one thing I wanted to, and why this image is here, one thing I wanted to check, kind of going back to the cores issue, was, am I going to be able to insert images with this new sort of templated Jinja deployment? And the answer is yes, because if I get the public URL for this object, which is out in S3, it does let me, you can see right here, it does let me pull that image in. So I think the cores error within the browser is mainly for loading other like HTML files amongst a couple other file formats, but clearly images are not affected. So that's a big win for actually getting these up and running with a new templated deployment. All right, that's about all the updates I have for this one. Tune in for the next video. I'll show you my progress, see where we're at, see if I can get that Fargate container up and running, and see how far we get with the sentiment analysis, as well as the domain name. We'll get through a couple things, but very excited, and tune in next time. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.